Hi, everyone. In today's episode, we talk about health, fitness, and relationships. We hope you like this one. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fight to Finish podcast. I'm Sissi.
And this is Arwin S.
And we are your hosts for the Fight to Finish podcast. So today, we're going to talk about something that's an interesting topic for us, I think. So
Okay.
Arwin and I have been together for 4 years, which I think when we say that out loud, it sounds
Short.
really short.
Yeah.
We
and we've been married less than one. So
Yeah, for less than a year.
Literally not even half a year. Not even 6 months yet. So newlyweds
Super
as
newlyweds.
green as you can be.
Green beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have been together for very long. However, so I don't know, I guess take this with a grain of salt. But
We're not experts. This is just what from our observations and kind of, and I'm sure there's going to be outliers, tons of outliers out there that disagree, and that's okay. Honestly, this is just a conversation starter. These are the types of questions Cece and I like ask ourselves, and we just thought we put it down on audio. So yeah. So why don't you? Really, how did this come about, babe?
I don't even remember. How did it come about?
I think it might be in your notes.
I have no notes, guys. This is all from my brain.
Oh yeah, okay, guys.
We'll just let Arwin, kind of vamp for a little bit while I don't look at notes. Okay, yes, okay, now I remember. That's right. So I was talking to a buddy of mine. This is before I met Arwin. I was dating guys and stuff, and a friend of mine had said that he made a comment about how a relationship can't be successful when one of the people in that couple is more active than the other one. And I might be misquoting him because this was like over 4 years ago, but
You're paraphrasing.
yeah. So it was something along those lines.
So in essence, when one person's super active and one person's very docile or somewhere in between that, right? That's basically the comment they made?
Right. So I think it was more along the lines of, you have, so for example, a couch potato and a competitive athlete, it's not going to work out.
Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
All right, this episode is done, so thank you for
thanks, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. No, so yeah, I agree with that. I think that when something is your passion, now, then it applies if it's your passion, right? I think that if one person, let's say, works out, like, I don't know, they go and they do 30 minutes on the treadmill every day, and they just do it to be healthy. It's not really their passion. They just do it because
maintenance.
Yeah. It's just good for them. And their significant other doesn't really like doing that. They don't really go to the gym. But both people have a passion for art. I think it might work. I think that might work.
I think because there's a common thread there.
Right.
It doesn't have to be fitness related. Like it can be any commonality, right? In my opinion, like in this case, it's art, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think that fitness and going to the gym, it's interesting. It's a different. It adds a different factor to the relationship, I think, and part of that factor is when you're at the gym. Well, the stereotype of a person that goes to the gym and works out is they have rock hard abs and huge arms and they're super muscular and look super fit, and everyone looks like Tia Toomey and Matt Frazier. And
I was waiting for the CrossFit reference.
Yeah,
and there it is. I was gonna say meathead, like straight up
or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but you went with the cross. I was like, when are you going to fit that
I'm a
in?
CrossFitter. It's going to happen. All right. I have to. It's when you join CrossFit, there's this law that you have to abide by that says you have to bring up CrossFit
so basically
in every
the opposite
opportunity
of Fight Club. Instead of not talking about Fight Club, you talk about Fight Club. So
exactly.
You're
yes.
like,
we are the opposite of Fight Club.
Yes.
You must always talk about CrossFit.
You're maintaining that rule.
I am. So, whew, not a violation. Cool. I can still be a CrossFitter. Okay, but anyways, tangent. Typical of me. But yeah, so I think because there is that stereotype where when you think about someone that goes to the gym and works out consistently, that's what they're supposed to look like. And so for someone that doesn't go to the gym, I think that can be intimidating when their partner goes consistently because they don't understand the culture at the gym. And especially when you have someone who's super passionate about working out and they go to the gym and then, of course, their friends are going to be like-minded, right? So those people are also going to be fit. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to have like six-pack abs and, look a certain way. Heck no. It's not going to happen. There's a lot of work that goes into looking a certain way. But one thing that I've noticed is that people, or at least in my experience, people that work out tend to have more confidence than those that don't.
Sure. I mean, you're working on yourself, bettering yourself. So there's an innately a confidence booster in that, and I can definitely speak from experience here. In terms of what I call Arwin 1.0, low self confidence, didn't believe himself, and only until really I started to get the reps in, so to speak, to work out, to stay disciplined at that, and I felt better, I looked better, and it definitely added confidence to my self-esteem, and I started to just gravitate towards people who had the same qualities as me, right? I don't think that I would be, for me, I don't think I'd be attracted to anybody that wasn't equally as motivated, at least in that regard. So,
So, question then.
Sure.
Arwin 1.0.
Okay.
Versus, what are we at? Arwin 3.0 now?
I think we're at like Arwin 3.0. Yeah.
Okay. So Arwin 1.0 versus Arwin 3.0. We might go into a story another day about what happened between 1 and 3, but
yes.
But between Arwin 1.0 and Arwin 3.0, would you say that the type of person that you would have dated has changed because of that fitness journey?
Yes. I think my, Arwin 1.0 just wanted like someone very superficial, pretty, and just like looked, just very superficial, right? And then,
guys, I'm glad he changed his mind.
Stop. And then, so Arwin, later versions of myself definitely tacked on not only the beauty, but the sophistication and the motivation and
nice
just
save.
the drive.
Nice save.
Getting brownie points here, guys. And yeah, so definitely there was a superficial aspect. I wanted everything that I was not, someone super skinny that had great skin and was super fit and or looked. That's a let me make a distinction here. That looked super fit, and to me, or at least at the time, Arwin 1.0, super fit was someone that was just skinny, right? That was way thinner than me. That was way under, I don't know, 130, 120. Someone in that just, the types of, you guys all know them, or they exist, and maybe you're a listener, I'm sorry. You can just consume a large amounts of, food and not gain any weight. That's what I was attracted to, what I thought I was attracted to. That is totally different from now. Obviously I'm attracted to my wife, who's super.
He's looking at me, guys. He's trying to figure out, am I mad or am I not?
Super, she's motivated in many different ways, and she's driven And, as we're recording this, we have a schedule and we missed our scheduled recording date, and it's a late midweek night, and we're taking the time to do this, and she's helping me and us maintain this discipline, and that's really all on her. So that I'm attracted to, honestly.
Yeah, good thing. He's not just into pretty girls anymore.
Stop, you're very beautiful.
I know. You tell me all the time. Yeah, so that's okay. That's interesting. And okay, I think just to clarify, not that skinny isn't pretty.
Yes. I'm sorry. That, to each their own. I was just trying to build a scenario, right? And if you are.
So I think what you were trying to say is that you were attracted to girls that were skinny because you thought that's what fit was.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's not just because someone's skinny doesn't necessarily mean that they're fit.
Yeah, correct.
Can be, but not. It's not.
Yes.
End all be all.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. I think we just gained back a few listeners, I hope.
Welcome back, guys.
Yeah, welcome back. You can all stop hating Arwin now. Yeah, so... Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here, and I feel like we've hit a lot of these already.
Well, you wanted to talk about a situation where... you wanted to talk about a previous relationship of mine. And I don't think it's in your notes, but you did bring it up. That you wanted me to talk about somebody that... Go ahead. Did it come to you?
No, it didn't, but no, go on. I can remember something else that I
wanted.
wanted
Well, go ahead, ask away, and then we can round back to this.
Well, no, so I was thinking about... I wrote here about career versus passion, so, I was thinking if you're a personal trainer, could you ever date someone that isn't?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think we know some people that... Well, do we? Wait, I know one person that personal trainer and their significant other isn't in the fitness world.
Oh, I don't know anyone.
Okay, never mind. So go ahead. You finish your thought.
No, so I was just thinking, I think that as a personal trainer, because you spend so much, as a personal trainer, because you spend so much time at the gym, it kind of goes back to what I said before. There is that if your significant other they're not in that fitness world, jealousy can definitely play into that. And jealousy can definitely play into that because you would have to be a very secure person not to get jealous. And it's because they see their significant other around these fit people. They're training people to become fitter every day. And so if you don't understand that world, it's hard
to relate.
Sure. And it's hard to see that just because you get close to these people, it doesn't mean that anything's happening. And just in my time going to different gyms and meeting different people, I've noticed that people that don't work out with their significant other, that jealousy, it comes up. Not every time.
So are you saying that,
but it does.
Both parties have to work out together all the time?
They don't. But I think having an understanding of the other person's passion. So for example, I used to do jujitsu. Before I did jujitsu, I would look at jujitsu and I'm like, man, guys are fucking creepy. Like, they are just so creepy. They're just doing it because they just want to touch girls. Okay, yes, some guys are creepy and do it just to touch girls, but those guys get weeded out pretty quickly.
Yes, from
because the other guys
will see.
First
that,
of all, we'll
sure.
see it because that guy will always pick to roll with girls.
Yeah.
And you can tell now that I've done jujitsu, you can tell when someone's being creepy and when someone's legit trying to just learn or help someone else grow.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't know. And I would, I've seen times when it's mostly males, I'll be honest with you. I see a lot of males do jujitsu, I don't see a lot of females. Not that there aren't. There are a lot of females out there that do jujitsu, but when you walk into a class, chances are there's going to be more males than females in the class, unless you're going to an all-female class.
Yeah.
Having said that, if a guy... how can I describe this?
So if it's flipped?
Well, I think either way, right? If a guy's girlfriend is on the sidelines and she's just watching him roll, and he works with another girl, and the girl has her legs wrapped around him, which is called being in guard. He's in guard. He's in her guard. It's not a sexual thing, but I can see why it could appear that way.
Sure.
And so not understanding the sport and not understanding how it works and never having gone through that can make someone feel insecure.
Sure. I think it's also a mental understanding, right? So just to add on to what you're saying, it goes for males too, because I've definitely had since I've started, I've had some friends back from my hometown call me and it's like, hey, is it kind of weird that you're wrapping your legs around another dude, or like, you're doing this and that, and like, yeah, they're pretty, if you take it into that context, it can be deemed very inappropriate. However, it comes with the comfortability, like, hey, you get over it real fast. You get over that. If you've trained anything in grappling or anything close to that, combat sports, you have a level of understanding. But if you're coming fresh off the streets, or like it's the significant other, right, this male or female that's never done it before, there's no level of understanding that this move or this seemingly seemingly inappropriate position is in fact valid, right? And there's no sexual connotation behind it. So I think, with that lack of understanding and lack of like understanding, oh, my significant other is doing jujitsu, or they're doing CrossFit, and then like a squat, for example, like, oh, he's spotting me, or he's spotting a female squat. What he's doing is to ensure her safety, or their safety, I should say. And it looks inappropriate, but if you have that level of understanding, like, oh yeah, I've been there, I've squatted before and I've needed assistance, right? There is a level of understanding, like, oh, okay, cool. What they're doing is just helping, right? Is that where you're kind of?
Yeah. And so, and I think that when you're, also when you're the athlete that is training, you can also tell when someone's being creepy.
Oh, absolutely.
And when someone's there just to help you, and it becomes very apparent very quickly. So if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
Yeah.
Honestly,
sure.
that's really...
And if you're uncomfortable, you got to say something, male or female, like, like it's, it's like, you're like, hey, that's not cool, or whatever. Like, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, if someone's being creepy and they're, I don't know. Maybe this is I'm getting into, at least where I'm getting at, it's a level out of my expertise, and I'm not going to speak out of turn here on that. But, if you're uncomfortable, absolutely say something,
Yeah. But that also led into a different thought of, a lot of times you see clients get crushes on their coaches. I've seen it so many times. Would you agree?
I don't. So
in your experience.
So there's going to be a lack of experience here, because...
Wow, lack of experience.
No, I mean, in all the times I've been to the gyms I've been a part of in the past, I've never had a personal trainer, that was never offered to me, not until I moved here locally, and like that's the main bread and butter. So I can't say that I've seen it for sure, but I can definitely see it happening. I can, maybe you'll touch on this in a second, but yeah, I can't say that I've seen it. I've seen tons of people that do a certain sport, kind of develop crushes on, or develop things for other people, like other patrons that they work out with, especially if they work out constantly, but not like a trainer individual thing.
Okay. Well, I have worked with a lot of trainers. I don't think I've ever developed a crush on any of them.
Sure. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, calm your tits. No, I never developed a crush on any of them, but I have known a lot of people that have worked with trainers. I'm definitely the type of person that when I'm part of a gym, I like to be part of the community. And so being part of the community, people talk to you and they tell you things. And so you learn things. You learn some cool things about people, and you learn some some of the drama as well.
Of course, like that comes with
it just comes with being part of the community.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just part of being the community. And so, I have known people that have developed crushes on their coaches, and to be honest, I can understand why. I see how that happens. You spend a lot of time with this person, and literally their only job is to help you get better. And so when you have someone sitting there in your corner rooting for you and trying to help you grow and become a better person, and you start seeing those changes in yourself and you start achieving those goals, you start really liking that person because you're like, man, every time I'm with you, I'm moving towards something better for myself. And, it's kind of like the Pavlov's dog, right? Where every time he heard a bell, he would get fed. And so every time he heard the bell, he would start salivating. The dog. So same thing. When you work out, endorphins are released. You feel happy. It's going to happen. So every time you work with your trainer, you work out, you feel happy. So now you start associating, hey, every time I'm with this person, I'm really happy. And so actually, that same friend that said... that
made the comment in the beginning.
He also said that it's not good to date people from the gym. You should hang out with them, become their friend outside of the gym. Because if every time you see this person, it's when you guys work out, then you always have these endorphins, right?
Got it.
You always feel good. Every time you're with this person, you feel good. But what about when you take that factor out? Is this person still that interesting? Do you still enjoy your time with this person outside of that gym area? And so, he always said, oh yeah, don't date someone that you only know from the gym. Start dating them after you've become friends with them and known them outside of the gym for a little while and see if you're still interested.
So that kind of goes the same with, I guess, how relating it back to us, how we met. We met during
Yeah, you were really drunk. I took advantage of you.
I said during a GoRuck event.
Yeah. You were pretty drunk.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
During the event?
Yeah.
No, I was not.
I saw you drinking.
When?
During the event. I thought we already established this.
I don't remember drinking.
That's how drunk you were.
I was not.
Thank you. You just admitted it.
Number one, we as you guys know from a previous episode, we met during a GoRuck custom event. And so, that was at a event that we were both obviously interested in. And I think in your example and what you believe to be true, that kind of fits, right? We met at a fitness function. We had a commonality there, and we moved that offline or moved that away from said event, right? So you and I have saw each other outside of the GoRuck stuff, and we continue to do other, we went hiking on the very next official date was a hike, right?
Wow. See, I totally didn't even listen to my buddy. He said, don't, do things outside of the fitness. But I don't know. We're both so into fitness that it was kind of hard not to.
We're both active. I think my level of fitness is nowhere near your level of fitness. Everybody that knows Sissi in our inner circle and, tertiary circle knows that Sissi's pretty much a fiend. She lives and breathes fitness. She literally will get sad when she can't find her lacrosse ball because she can't use it.
Hey, yes, I lost my lacrosse ball and I wanted to cry. I was really, really sad. It was my favorite lacrosse ball.
If you guys didn't know,
it saves me so much.
It's not that she likes lacrosse. I'm sure she'll love it, or she would love it, but it's actually she uses the ball itself as a tool to help
self-massage tool.
Okay, that sounds
okay.
rough.
Wow, not what I meant, guys.
to release some fascia, some tight tissues, like knots in the back, shoulders, etc. That's like one of her favorite go-to simple tools, and you can go buy one for like $1. Like really
super cheap.
Super cheap. So yeah, if you're not stretching and stretching and foam rolling, definitely do that. I can speak from self-experience implementing it into my routine. It helps. Sorry, just 2-second bite there.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by any lacrosse ball companies.
Hypervolt and, lacrosse ball companies want to sponsor this. You definitely can. Sorry.
Okay, but so that's interesting. You said that I'm much fitter than you.
No. Let me clarify. I think the level of fitness, like I like working out to a degree, but I also have like maybe there's a how can I put this? So I'm like 80% I like working out. 20% I want to just be lazy. You're 90% you want to work. No, 95% you want to work out, and then 5% you just want to be lazy, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. Some days were
5% of the time.
Okay, no.
Okay, guys, I'm not working hard enough.
What I'm saying is like, for example, in the mornings, and in the mornings you get up so early because you want to start your day early. Not only do you have work, but you just naturally can't. To you, sleeping in is 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's sleep. That's like really sleeping in.
See what I'm saying? So to me, sleeping in is like, okay, I'm going to go maybe 8, 9 o'clock. Right. And you're like, that's way too late. I would have, see, you're making a face right now. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying,
okay, but
I'm any less fitter than you. I'm just saying you want to, be, I don't know, your level of intensity, fitness intensity.
Okay. I'm more intense.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fair.
Stop.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
What I'm saying, you get what I'm saying in that 80-20.
No, I know.
95-5.
If there was a choice for me to go do Murph or play video games, I would choose to do Murph.
Yeah.
RX.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you had a choice to do Murph RX or play video games, depending on how you're feeling, you might play video games.
Correct. I mean, I've done Murph RX. It's not the fastest time in the world, but I've done it, right? Time and time again. But yeah, definitely. If I'm like, you know what? I feel like playing a little video games, or like I feel like doing something else and not working out. Yeah. Right. 20% of me is like, let's do that.
Yeah. And I think
you get what I'm saying now. Is that a good way to think?
Yeah. My lazy time is me reading a book by Jocko, or I don't know.
Chasing Excellence.
Or yes, right now I'm reading the book Chasing Excellence.
Yeah.
It's excellent. It's
See
really good.
So I mean,
today was my lazy day, and I literally spent an hour just reading. So
yeah, her idea of lazy is being productive.
Yeah, if I'm
it's
not
still productive. Yeah, so
I get really frustrated if I'm not productive.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, babe.
Yeah, that's fair. But as you can tell, I think we work because if I say, "Hey, we're gonna go do Murph," I know you're gonna sit there and complain. You're like, "This is horrible. Why do you make me do this?" But you're gonna do it with me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like when I do the 5 a.m. CrossFit class, right? Like I'm like, some days I'm like super motivated, and then some days I'm just like, I need this. I hate it, but I need it. And then what do I end up texting you? Like, I'm glad I went. My shoulders hurt right now, but I'm glad I went. I'll be complaining, maybe even in the warm up, but once those endorphins start to like just pump through, I'm like, all right, I'm glad I'm here.
I'm so proud of you. You brought up CrossFit and you didn't even have to. You're a true CrossFitter.
I drank the Kool-Aid, guys. I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but I totally agree. And I think that works for us.
Yeah, I think, you and I have a base level, right? Like we're passionate about staying fit, right? And you have an understanding of jiu-jitsu, and I have an understanding of CrossFit. And that may work out for you, may not work out for you. That just works out for us, right? And we both have an understanding. And clarify, she didn't force me into CrossFit. My natural Well,
I kind of did. Basically, I bought him the what is it called?
The introductory class.
It's an introductory. It's 2 sessions with a personal trainer, learning about CrossFit and the movements. And so I bought him.
She signed me up, essentially.
Yeah, I signed him up for it. And I said, hey, here you go. Figure out when you're going to go. I said, you just do 2 classes. You don't like it? Cool, you don't like it. You never do CrossFit again.
True, but like, did I not have expressed interest in it? Because
yeah, you did. Because I remember we signed you up for that because you wanted to do CrossFit with me while we were in Vegas.
Yeah, like I had a natural.
We had a wedding coming up, and
oh well, we had a wedding.
Not ours. We were going to a wedding.
Yeah. So not only that, but like I saw, like I wanted to learn the movements that you were doing when you would say cleans, power clean, snatch. Like I didn't know, like I know what they look like, but I didn't know what was what. Mm-hmm. And they look so cool. And I wanted to learn how to do a handstand. And I was like, oh, that's a cool movement. Like I want to learn how to do that. Not that I couldn't teach it on myself, but I wanted an environment where there was an expert, like rather than me teaching myself where it could be potentially really dangerous, which happens a lot, and which is, and people can do it. Absolutely. I just did not feel comfortable with my level or lack thereof experience in training myself to do those movements. So that's why I expressed interest in CrossFit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, going back to, I guess us again, she did not force me into CrossFit. And so I naturally fell into it. And even now, like, even in the previous episode, I do way more jujitsu than CrossFit, but she does way more CrossFit than, let's say, she does jujitsu. But she has that base level understanding that when I roll,
did jujitsu for a little while, and then I quit.
You are on hold.
I'm on hold.
You're on hold. You never quit. The eternal white belt.
Quit.
But
I will forever be a white belt. I've decided.
But you have that understanding. So now when, and I use it to my advantage. So when you have that understanding, you're like, oh, I helped out this girl, like with movements, right? And that said situation, like the girl who was new or newish, she was like, she was open to sparring, and I was like, cool, great, good. That's the next step into this journey, is getting comfortable sparring or going live. And she was doing okay. Obviously, me as an upper belt was trying to coach her while we were rolling, like, hey, maybe do this or do that. But I also now related it back to you. I said, hey, my wife's about your size. Here's what she does to me. And she immediately clicked with her because she was like, oh, okay, cool. Number one, it eased maybe the awkwardness she was feeling, right? Mm-hmm. And it also made it like, oh, he's can help me because his wife is probably the same size as me, and he's giving me a tip. And now it's a good coaching opportunity for me. So, that works.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been rambling.
But yeah, no, I think that having had that background in jiu-jitsu definitely helps us, because I think the first time I saw you roll with a girl, I was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, because you had an understanding, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a jealousy thing. And I think that is something that I've had people ask me before, like, doesn't it bother you that he rolls with girls? And no, not really. And because I know that you're not creepy, and that it's not like a sexual thing. It's just, you're just working out with a friend, basically.
In the same token with you have a CrossFit coach, right? Who is a male. And, I think you even thought, right? Like, you thought I would be jealous, or was that like your feeling?
Well, remember it's not that I thought that you'd be jealous. I was just concerned because I think
Why don't you explain?
Past. So I think it's the fact that I was spending a lot of time with my coach, and he was helping me really progress. And so I'd always say things like, oh, well, Sean told me this. Sean told me that. Sean told me this. And
your coach, Sean.
My coach, Sean. And so, like, I really trusted in what he was telling me, that I was excited to share what I was learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just concerned about it being a male, because we're in a male-female relationship. And so just wanted to make sure that you were okay with that. And I think before I even started working with Sean, I think I told you, I said, hey, if you're not comfortable with me working with a male coach, I will find a female coach. That's fine. I mean,
yeah. But what did I tell you? I was like, you're going to choose the best coach you're going to find the best coach for you, whether that's male or female. I think for me, I had understanding your goal and a level of trust in you as you have a level of trust in me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that comes with knowledge of each other's passions, right? Both, yes, seeming fitness related, but passionate nonetheless. Like I have an understanding that it's a professional.
Like that's his job.
Yeah, that's his job. But also you're not looking for anything else.
Right.
Right. As I'm not looking for anything else. When I roll in jiu-jitsu, I'm just rolling in jiu-jitsu. In the same token, I
don't know. You and Noah sometimes. What do you guys
wow. And Howie too. Remember, it's a 3-piece.
I know. I've seen you and Noah roll more than I've seen you and Howie roll. But you and Howie do whisper sweet nothings into each other's ears.
Those are my rolling partners, by the way, guys.
Sure, rolling partners.
But, there's a level of, like that's what you're trying to get out of it. And that's what I'm trying to get out of this, right? So there's a base understanding there.
And I think that I just wanted to make sure that you're okay with it just because I'd seen so many. Well, first of all, I've seen a lot of people cheat on their significant others with trainers.
That's what you're
not at every gym.
Earlier. Yeah,
I haven't seen that at every gym, but there are some gyms that I've been a part of where that was the culture was students were sleeping with coaches. And so I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't sure if you had experienced the same thing in the gyms that you had been to. And so, making sure that you were okay with that. And I was totally willing to switch to a female coach.
But, that goes into our relationship too,
But I think that you saw the value that Coach Sean was giving me.
Yeah.
And how I was improving and it was making me happy. And so, I mean, if I was cheating on Arwin, I definitely wouldn't have been improving that well. So,
well, it goes down a level of security, right? Like,
yeah.
Am I secure with you? Am I secure with myself? And I met Sean. He's a great guy. He's definitely helped you immensely, right? And I'm totally like not jealous. I mean, I understand that's her friend, that's her trainer, right? Like, and that's cool with me. Just as much as she talks my ear off about their workouts and CrossFit, I talk her equally, talk as much about jiu-jitsu and seminars and things, right? And I know that's an equal trade-off, and that's just a testament to our relationship and how we built it in the beginning is having kind of an open conversation policy, right? In terms of, hey, if you're expressing some discomfort and whatever, speak it now, like early and often, right?
Yeah.
And that's really worked out for us in the four years we've been together, right? Yes, short amount of time. But just like this podcast, right? It's a conversation. It's an hour block where I get to have a really interesting conversation that everybody else gets to hear too.
It's true. Yeah. I'm trying to think if we had anything else. I think those were mostly our thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I think, earlier I'd mentioned that you wanted to ask me a question about a previous relationship of mine. Like I alluded to it earlier.
So, okay,
I didn't want to just drop it.
Okay, so you and I, we met at a Go Ruck event.
Correct.
And this girl that you dated before you and I met. Well, actually, we almost met.
Yeah.
Around that time when you guys were seeing each other. So
I should explain. Well, I'll give you some backstory. Sissi, we almost met, and she means that she was doing a custom event at some place, and as a shadow, you can just go watch and participate. I decided to take the girl I was dating then to shadow event to show her, like, hey, this is what they're all about. This is really cool. Maybe we get to do one day. That's the backstory of that. So that's how we almost met.
And so Arwin actually met my sister that night.
And she met the girl that I was dating.
Yeah. And it was just funny because I think before we met, there was a group. There was a Facebook group, and people kept trolling on you Damn it, Arwin.
Yeah,
Damn it, Arwin.
Yeah.
It's like little inside joke that they had, and I was like, who the heck is this Arwin guy? I don't know him. He must be some noob. Yeah, no, he was not a noob. He'd done so many more events than me. I didn't know who Arwin was. I hadn't met him, right? And so, I think there was a lot of times when we almost met, and my sister was like, oh, that's Arwin. He was at the event that you just did. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. Whatever.
Wow.
I blew him off via Facebook group.
Got it.
That's before we met. You didn't even know I was alive then. And I already blew you off. Stop.
You guys know exactly the face I made when she said, you know what I'm saying.
Anyways, but that girl that you were dating at that time.
Yeah.
You ended up doing a Go Work event with her.
Yeah, so we did a light, and I don't want to diminish anybody's, level, but a light is definitely not a tough or challenge, what they called it then, or a heavy, right? It's supposed to be a shorter version, not any less.
So a light is how many hours?
4 to 6 hours, probably.
4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, and it's
a tough / challenge is what?
12.
12 to less than 24.
Yeah,
and then the heavy is 24 plus.
Yeah. So
and then there's selection.
Yeah. And then that's a whole, we can go on and on about GoRuck, as you can listen to our hour and a half podcast episode about GoRuck. But, I took her to that, and then, we did a light together, and it just, even though she was in the fitness space, it just wasn't she wasn't having it. She didn't have fun. She definitely, if you do a GoRuck event, it's a team event. So be a part of the team. Don't be an
individual.
Individual. And she was definitely individual, right? Everybody hated her. I was really embarrassed to go home, because we rode together. So I was really embarrassed to just was like, oh shit, it's me that brought her.
You're like, guys, don't
I
look.
remember one of the seasoned girls was like, who brought this, girl? And they were complaining, and I kind of just gray man that conversation. I was like,
you're just I don't know who brought this chick.
She was holding the flag, right? I don't think I ever told you the story. No. She was holding the flag, and we all had weight, and so we were crossing the street. She just ran across the street, didn't wait. So now there's a separation. Cadre was mad.
Oh, I
and
bet.
Everybody was just like, you have to wait. She was like, you guys got to hurry up. And I was like, whoa. I was like, ugh. So I was really embarrassed and then after that, she just complained the whole night how hard it was, and her
and you're like, you weren't even carrying weight.
Yeah, and it's her muscles were aching, and I was like, that was really easy for me. And again, so I don't want to diminish that. If you're doing a light for your first time or thinking about doing your light, do the light. What I'm saying is that she spent the whole night and evening, even after the event, complaining how horrible it was.
Well, and I think there's, she's telling people to hurry up, and at the end of the day, when she didn't even do as much work as everyone else, she was sitting there complaining.
Yeah.
About how it was hard, but then telling people that they needed to go harder when they were doing more work than her. And
how that relates to this conversation is yes, she's in the fitness space, but there was a disconnect here, right? There was no willingness to understand the other perspective, right? And I think that's why you and I work so well. And I feel like other future relationships can benefit is that, at least have an understanding. Yeah, that girl gave it a shot, but now she's, instead of saying, that's not for me, and just being cool, whatever, she's spent the whole time telling me how horrible it was.
So do you think, let's say that, I don't know, a rugby player and a ping pong player.
Okay, athlete, yeah.
Yeah.
Diminish that.
Do you think that could work?
I think it's the level of how passionate they are.
Okay.
Right? Would you agree or no?
Yeah, I think that it can work as long as the other person, as long as they support each other and they understand that passion. Yeah. I think it definitely helps when your partner enjoys doing the same things you do. So I enjoy rolling with you. I think it's fun.
And I enjoy CrossFit.
Yeah, there's something about, choking you and...
Oh, God. By the way, we took a seminar with Hoist Gracie, and literally Hoist not only did he ragdoll me, but he gave Sissi one-on-one instruction of how to like pretty much triangle choke me. Remember that? He was like, "You do this." Remember?
Yeah.
Like, that was like such
I know. It was like, that was his one goal, was to make sure that I knew how to really choke Arwin.
Yeah, it was such a really cool experience. Number one,
cool.
If you have...
That's like one of my favorite moves now to do.
But like, the fact that we were able to take a jiu-jitsu seminar but together, I think was a great experience. Number one, shout out to Hoist Gracie. Number one, real OG UFC. Number one. But, and just part of the Gracie family. So.
And yes, this is why I will forever be a white belt. I will forever be
that's
a student.
right. That's why you can't wear your white belt anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I can't wear my white belt anymore.
You just gotta buy a new one.
No, but I like his, well, okay, so during that seminar, he showed up wearing a navy blue belt.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It was dark blue, and I was so confused.
We were also confused.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? I was like, I thought he was a black belt. Like, why is he wearing a blue belt? And I had to look it up. I didn't know. So it has to do with the original Gracie belting
belt system,
belting system. Thank you. That's
blue was the highest.
So blue is instructor. Well, sorry, navy blue was instructor. So there's white is student, light blue, I think was like, I forget what light blue is. Maybe it is instructor, and then navy blue is like senior instructor. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up. But there's only 3 belt levels, and so white is student, and so that's why after I learned that, I think it kind of changed my perspective on jujitsu and the way that, like, at the end of the day, if you're a white belt or you're a black belt, you're still showing up to the same class. You're still doing the same drills as everyone else. So you could do jujitsu for 10 years and be a white belt all 10 years and choose to never belt up. But having a blue belt or purple belt or brown belt or black belt, it doesn't change your level of
willingness to learn.
Not just willingness to learn, but it doesn't improve your skill in any way.
Oh, just having the belt doesn't improve your skill. It's
just because you have a blue belt, it doesn't mean that you're any better. It just shows that, it's a way to show other people, hey, I'm proficient in at least these basic skills.
Sure.
Right? And so I think that too many people focus on getting that next belt when really it's not about getting another belt. It's about learning and having the skill. That's really what you should be aiming towards.
Sure. I think that's one, and you're not wrong. I think that's definitely one rule of thought. I do think it's a little bit different on my end. But your thoughts are valid nonetheless. I think for me, it signifies something a little bit greater or equally on par with that, if not, greater. I mean, obviously it signifies, and you can disagree or not, and I get it, whatever. But I think for me, that belt means so much more in terms of how much work I've put into, right? And then learning the craft and learning the nuances, right? And, they say like a purple belt or a brown belt knows exactly all the things that a black belt does, but it comes with the experience and sharpening that edge of the sword, right? And then I think that's a good analogy, like, as I progress and I hope to, get to that pinnacle one day, but I know I got to trust in the process, right? But again, I agree with you. Absolutely. I just want to give some context, like, like it's...
Yeah.
And that your thoughts are not invalid any more than my thoughts are not invalid.
Right. And to be fair, I don't train in jiu-jitsu anymore. Not that I don't go to class and not that I don't roll, but I don't train in jiu-jitsu because when I train, for me, training means I'm like, that's my focus and I'm striving to really develop a skill in that area. Right now, I'm really focused on CrossFit.
Yeah. And
that's where my passion is.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think we've talked about this, did we? So because I injured my shoulder, I'm not able to do any pushing or pulling motions. And for anyone that's ever done CrossFit, that's like about 90% of what we do.
Yeah.
It's a big part of it. So no snatching, no overhead squats, no bench press, no push-ups, no muscle-ups, no pull-ups, no kipping, no toes to bar, no planking. There's just so many things that I can't do that when I show up to a CrossFit class, it's really, really tough to modify. So I've been training what I can. I can do deadlifts. I can do back squats. I can do front squats. Basically all the weight that I'm able to do without feeling pain. So I can't even do kettlebell swings. So because of that, I was getting really tired of only being able to do certain movements.
Sure.
And for me, I'm the type of person that has to be working towards something. If I'm not working towards something, I get really antsy and I get bored, and I'm in the gym and I'm like, why? Like, why? Why am I doing this? I don't have a why for working out.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I do? I can do cardio. I can run. So I'm going to do a marathon. I just decided, you know what? Screw it. Let's just do a marathon. I've never done a marathon. I'm terrible at running. Just really, really bad at running. It's one of my weaknesses. And so what is the best way to get better at running? Yeah, it's to run. So why not run 26 miles? Sorry, 26.2. The 0.2 is important. If you don't finish the 0.2, it's not a full marathon.
Invalid now.
Yeah.
So on that token, I'm going to support her as much as I can. And I am not a runner myself, but, I'm totally accepting of her finding the resources, male or female, speaking of relationships, to go run, like a training partner, a running group or whatever. And I'm totally comfortable with that. Even for Valentine's Day, we're going to start her first training run. I'll join her as well too.
Yeah, I started training yesterday.
Well, sorry, my first.
It's going to be our first training run together as a couple, but.
Yeah. But just to recap this conversation, and we'll wrap this up here, is, health, fitness, and relationships, right? We've observed that, it helps if both, people in the relationship share a commonality, whether that's fitness, art, whatever they're passionate about. As long as there's commonality, like in our relationship, we can speak from experience that, it works for us, right? And also in that token, from what we've observed, like you said, Sissi, in the gym, if the significant other isn't, understanding or equally as passionate about that or fitness itself, there tends to be a little promiscuity going around, right?
Yeah.
And again, those are from, hers and my perspective, and it may change for you. And obviously, there's tons of people that are probably yelling at us like, no, that's not true. My parents or my friend, Sally and Bob or Ned and Nance, and absolutely, more to them. It's just, something we've observed, and we thought we would take the time to talk about it. And
we would actually love to hear you guys' thoughts. Have you?
Absolutely. Are you that person?
No, but honestly, what are your thoughts? Do you guys think that, a difference in active levels makes a difference in a relationship? What has your experience been, and what have you guys observed while your time in the gym, or maybe not your time in the gym, even if you don't like to work out?
Let us know.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Leave a comment on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, it's F2F Podcasts. And follow us on our website now. If you are just stumbling upon this on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Apple, Google, TuneIn. Follow us follow us on any of those platforms, but go to our website. It's now f2fpodcast.com. We have a website. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get more resources out to you. We appreciate you guys, tuning in and subscribing and just following us. We are working on some really cool episodes upcoming. So stay tuned for that. We can't wait to release those to you guys.
We're kind of stoked.
I'm really, really stoked about our next guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
not that our previous guests weren't awesome. Yeah, they were, but.
Sorry, Jacob.
I think this is one guest that we've wanted to have on our podcast for a while, and so we're kind of stoked. We'll be releasing that episode.
I think
hopefully soon.
One of us will be very starstruck.
It's definitely Arwin.
It's definitely not me. So stay tuned for that, and we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Fight to Finish podcast.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.